stuck, but let's get to the word. Let's get to the word.
Let's get to the word straight from the source. Straight from the source. So today, y'all, man, what I want to dive into the book of First Samuel, chapter 16. And the reason why I want to dive into this is because David is one of them dudes, right? David is my guy. And the Bible describes him as a man after God's own heart. However, just in this particular text, so there was just for context, there was the king Saul who ultimately gave in to his desires to please the people over the will of God, right? And we all know that that's extremely dangerous, but sometimes in the moment we want to please people and we want to make people happy. I've been there, you've been there, we've done it. But then the servant Samuel, God's letting him know, hey, bro, it's time for you to go ahead and find a new king, right? It's time for you to do what you don't want to do, but that's just what I'm commanding you to do at this time. So, in this text, Samuel is told to go over to find Jesse, and Jesse is David's father, and Jesse also has 7 other sons. So what happens is, and I'm gonna read the text in just 1 second, but what happens is then Samuel pulls up on Jesse and he starts seeing these guys. And y'all know what it's like because this is I'm a parallel this for me. Like when I was in college playing college basketball and I pull up in this open gym and I'm looking at all these dudes. I'm like, dang, this dude about 6'10, this dude 6'9, this dude 250. I'm like, man, these dudes are surely gonna be the starters. And I'm looking around and I'm feeling insufficient and I'm feeling like I'm gonna come up short. And I'm like, man, well, this guy right here, I can tell he can hoop. He got the shoes. He's just looked like he ready for what's about to happen. But as this is taking place, then ultimately now we're going to read the text. Now we're going to read the text. So the verse is First Samuel chapter 16, and the verse that we're going to read and pull from today is going to be verse 7. Okay. And the verse says, but the Lord said to Samuel, do not look at his appearance or at the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For God does not see as man sees, since man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. One more time. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look at his appearance or at the height of his stature. So don't look at how tall he is, because I have rejected him, right? You're looking at the height, but God's saying, I don't want him. You're looking at the muscles, but God's saying those muscles ain't going to do it in this season, right? For God does not see as man sees. So what you see, the guys you think are bigger, the guys you think are better, the guys you think are going to go further, that's not what it's about, because you're looking at them with earthly eyes, but I'm looking at them with spiritual eyes. And God said, and he says, since man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Why am I pulling from this text today? Y'all, after after Jesse shows Samuel his 7 sons, Samuel's like, well, God, if these ain't these aren't the guys, then who is it? He said, well, I think I'm looking at all the sons. Samuel said, well, Jesse, do you have any other sons? He said, well, I got this other young one. I got this other young bull outside. My young guy is David, but his appearance isn't too impressive, and he's out here with the sheep. You can check him out, but I don't know, right? So everybody already counted David out. How many times in your life have you already felt as if somebody counted you out? Right? They didn't give you a chance. They didn't look at your resume. They didn't check out your experience. They didn't care nothing about that. They looked at you and for face value, they said, you're not it. You're not who I'm looking for. But then this is when Samuel sees him and says, this is who God has called me to anoint. So then Samuel pours the oil over David's head. And then he tells him, you're going to be the next king. But y'all, this is the crazy part. We're not going to go too deep into it because we don't got the time today. But then after he anoints him, he pours the oil over his head, because that was a custom back in the day. He poured the oil over his head, let him know that he's anointed to be the next king. Then he sent David back out to go work with the sheep and go continue to protect them. It's like, but wait, he's anointed as king, though. Why are you going to send him back out there? Later, we'd see this is when David slays Goliath. But what I want us just to focus on and understand here is two things, right? The first one is don't worry about what everybody else sees. Worry about what God sees, right? Don't worry about how everybody else sees you. Worry about how God sees you. And in the text, it tells us that we're wonderfully and fearfully made. It tells us we're created in the image of God. It tells us we're the head and not the tail. We're above and not beneath. We're the borrower and not the lender. We're the lender and not the borrower. This is what the word of God says. But the second thing I want you to know and understand that if God has given and laid a vision, a purpose, a passion on your life, and you don't get to see it and capitalize on it in this season, just keep on working. Hey, just keep on working. Y'all, just keep on working. Because at the end of the day, David had to go back out and keep working and tending to the sheep. But then it's a few chapters later that he ends up getting the opportunity to slay Goliath. Why is that relevant? It's relevant because if David didn't continue to stay faithful in his position, then he wouldn't have been ready to slay Goliath when the time came. His confidence wouldn't have been there because he wouldn't have had the reps in. John, what you talking about today? I'm so fired up right now. At the end of the day, we have to stay in position. We have to continue to work. We have to continue to put in the reps so that when the opportunity presents itself, we will be able to stand 10 toes down. We'll be able to be confident and we'll be able to kill it out there. That's all I'm saying, y'all. And I'm bring it back full circle because I was talking about basketball and bring it back full circle. When I got the opportunity to walk on the court, my coach said, John, get in the game, get in the game. And I got in. And that was that time your boy was shining. I went for about 10 points, had about 3 rebounds because I stayed in position mentally for the opportunity when it presented itself. And that's the word for us today, y'all. Stay in position, be prepared so that you can kill it when the opportunity shows itself. Family, that's been straight from the source. I hope y'all enjoy the segment today. Be sure to hit that thumbs up so YouTube knows that you appreciate this content. And also make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode ever with us here on Speaker Success in the morning. We're going to be right back after this quick commercial break.